Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
And I got to start
My
by
pleasure.
saying congrats on 30 years of the rock and roll fantasy camp. What was the kind of the take me back to the creation of this? What was the impetus for this?
Well, the impetus was on tour with Ringo. I created the All Star Band, and after the fourth show, Joe Walsh and Levon Helm decided they were going to play a little joke on me, and they sent their bandmates to the my dinner table. And after the fourth show, because people said it was never going to work, you can't send all these all stars out and one big tour, and one night you can do, but you can't do a whole tour. And they decided that Levon Rock, not Levon, Clarence Clemens walks by my table and says, "Fishof, I'm out of here." And so did I looked to the right, and there's Lofgren, and he says the same thing. He says, I said, "What's going on?" There's a fight. Joe Walsh and Levon Helm are having a fight. So I go down to the dressing room, and there they are. And Levon's got a knife with blood on his hands, and
Oh,
Joe Walsh got a broken bottle, and he's screaming at each other. "You screwed me. Your songs are no good." And I walk in there and say, "You guys are a bunch of babies. What are you doing?" I had mortgaged my townhouse in Manhattan. All I could see was it was going down the river to make that tour. Oh, anyways, you can, your listeners can go on Google and go on YouTube and type in Ringo Starr, David Fishof, and you'll see that little incident. But I was scared. But you know what? Afterwards, I said, these people are having so much fun. If I could share this experience with a musician, not a fan, but a musician, and they can see what it's like to be around all these incredible rock stars. And 30 years ago. So it's been fun. And I'll tell you, the reason it's lasted is not because the fan, the musician, or me. It's lasted because the rock star is getting something out of it.
yeah, I mean that's the coolest part about it, and obviously the hook for people to sign up, and looking forward to the Sunset Strip edition we have coming up here in LA with Tommy Lee and John Five of Motley Crue, and really cool to see Tommy Lee, who's kind of a character and much more known for his personality, but a hell of a drummer. I think his drumming gets overlooked by his personality sometimes.
I think you said it absolutely right. It's like Gene Simmons, he's
Right.
an amazing bass player, but the personality. I think Tommy Lee, to me, from day one, 30 years ago, he's the ultimate rock and roll fantasy. So,
Totally.
he did my 10th anniversary. He was incredible. He was just, he came in. I remember he took 3 planes to be there on time, and he just jammed it. He was great. And I've always wanted him back. So I'm really honored he's coming. And I have such respect for him. While they're going on tour this summer, and I'll get him during the rehearsal time and with John Five. And then from Buck Cherry, it's so good to have Josh Todd. He's
Ah,
quite he came to camp. He gave the most incredible songwriting masterclass.
wow.
And yeah, he's unbelievable. He put his heart and soul in it. So I'm excited to have him back. And then he was on the series Bones. Bones did a takeoff on Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and Josh Todd played the lead singer. So
Ah,
he was on that episode. So it's great to have him. And then Reb Beach. I mean,
ah.
he's what a great guy. He's going to jam with everybody. I love to have a star jam with the campers the final night at the whiskey. So he's going to jam with them, and it's exciting. It's exciting to have these great artists.
And I imagine with the Sunset Strip edition, gonna kind of be leaning into that era, that mid '80s of music, and what the campers will be learning.
Absolutely. And prior to coming to Rock Camp, they get a list of songs. They're categorized, beginners, intermediaries, advanced. You start learning these songs. With the advancement of Zoom today, they get to meet their rock stars in advance and their bands in advance. So by the time they come to camp, they're really preparing what songs they want to do. They got 2 live performances they do. So with Zoom is great because it really prepares the people for the camp. But once they come to camp, all that preparation goes away.
Then reality sets in, and
Then reality sets in.
I'm curious too. You mentioned a couple guitarist, a drummer, singer. Do you have a bassist at the camp, or does it matter? Or does John Five just teach him bass because he can play anything? Or do you try to make
No,
sure you
no.
have one for each instrument?
Oh yeah, no. We fill up each band. We have 10 to 12 bands. The good news is that we have 12 base spots. The bad news is that's all we have. So, at the Alice Cooper camp that we just did with Rob Halford, I turned away 20 bass players. If I don't get, it's first
Wow.
come, first serve.
Sure.
So same thing with keyboards, drums, it's first come, first serve. So, it's been so strange lately because bass is always the slowest, and now it's been picking up as the fastest.
Huh.
Um, the other thing that's been happening lately is getting a lot more women. A lot of women coming to rock camp. If you see all these gunslingers online, these ladies, and more women are picking up guitars, and so that's been exciting, and drums, and with Tommy Lee, it's not a problem. Tommy Lee, you'll get it's you get all these guys, all these women saying to their husbands, "You're going because I'm going to meet Tommy Lee."
I'm curious, man, over 30 years of doing this, have you heard any success stories? Is there anyone out there that went to camp as a kid and is now a working professional musician?
A bunch of them. You'd be really surprised. And I never talk about it. I never brag, but I don't advertise it. But yeah, the Eagles of death metal, the drummer,
Hmm.
she's Leah Bluestein. She comes from Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. She came to camp watching her brother play guitar. Her brother's a little 13-year-old guitar player. She would come. She would look in. She was a shy girl. She bumps into Rudy Sarzo, who says to her, "Come here, you want to try to play some drums with me?" And she gets into the drums and more and more. And she went to Berkeley, and now she's a
Wow.
drummer.
Wow.
I went to visit the bass player of Metallica,
Robert
his
Trujillo.
son, Robert. Robert has a son's band. So I
Hi.
wanted to get Robert to come to camp. And so I go visit the band, and I walk into the dressing room, and the drummer comes running over to me. He says, "Mr. Fisher, Mr. Fisher, I've been 10 years ago. I went to your rock camp. Look where I am today."
Oh, wow.
So I've had some successes. I had a young lady last week who was on Jimmy Kimmel. Linda Perry, met her at rock camp, heard her sing, said, "Hey, why don't you sing backup for me now?" And now she's on she's on Jimmy Kimmel. So there are a lot of been great successes, and it's going to happen if you really work at it, and you get to meet a lot of contacts at camp. But again, I'd never want to promote that. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I think it's something worth mentioning, worth
Yeah,
highlighting, especially after
yeah.
30 years. I mean, and to
After
have all
30 years, yeah.
these success stories. Now, I'm sure you get this question a lot too. Is there anyone that's still on your wish list that you'd like to bring in?
It's funny. I sent an offer to Mick Jagger's, his accountant is a good friend of mine. And I called him last week. I said, "What happened?" He said, "David, I didn't get a no. So that's good." Of course, listen, Jimmy Page, he would be, I had Jeff Beck.
Mm.
To me, Paul McCartney would be the best. Will I get them? Who knows? Maybe when they're 80. They're 80 now, maybe when they're 90. It's so many of them that I never thought I'd get. And then, Stuart Copeland was a guy I tried for years and years. And this year he did 3 camps.
Oh,
He was
wow.
fabulous. He just was great. He loves to tell stories. And I think that the key with Rock Camp is once they come, not only does the camper keep coming back, but the rock star keeps coming back because this is Roger Daltrey's, this will be his 8th camp.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I mean, so what happens is that they come to camp. It reminds them what it was like when they first started. A guy like Jerry Cantrell walks into camp. I'll never forget. I said, "Jerry, I have food for you in the green room." He said, "No, no, no, David, I'm staying down here. And this is what your camp is about. Me being with my fellow musicians." So it's if you're a musician, it's the greatest experience in the world. It's not, and it's not a meet and greet. These guys stay, and Bill Wyman. I'll never forget Bill Wyman. He comes in at 10 o'clock in the morning. And finally, still they're jamming at 6 o'clock at night. Slash, the one time he came, he's played an hour with each band. When
Wow.
these Because they're musicians, and they love to play.
Right.
And Sammy Hagar said in the movie, he said, "This is the hardest thing I had to do. Sing with 12 bands." So, I love that, and so I'm really grateful to them. I can never be done without them.
No, for sure. And speaking rock and roll fantasy camp, I believe you did a comedy camp recently, right?
I did a comedy camp. I tried. I went on Adam Carolla's show, and it was his idea. And I said, "Get me a fantasy." He got me Jay Leno, and we did about three of those camps. They were fun. They were fun. It's a different, it's interesting. It's a different customer. I
Hmm.
didn't like it as much. I have to be honest. It was more wannabes. When you come to
Ah,
rock camp, I don't promote you. Come for the experience. Everything. What you want to get out of it is one thing, but when they're coming because they want to be, they want to be discovered.
right.
It's a different attitude. So I'll see about doing comedy again. I still loved it. It was great. I mean, because that's my dream is to be a comic.
Right. Everyone, yeah, especially being a
Yeah.
radio guy, the stand up would be the next one in line.
But Mike, what's interesting? A rock star, they can get by doing one or two hits for the rest of their career, right? They keep playing
Right.
that damn hit all the time. They make a living till they're 80. The
Right.
problem with these comics are they got to keep writing every day. They got to be fresh. It's
Yeah.
harder to be a comic than to be a rock star,
Way
in my
harder.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the travel's a lot easier because it's just you and a microphone versus the whole,
Absolutely. Absolutely
entourage.
right.
But
But you got to keep writing. You got to be sharp.
absolutely. Well, I appreciate all the time, David. Anything else in closing? Did we miss anything here?
We didn't miss anything except go to rockcamp.com to sign up for Tommy Lee or the Roger Daltrey camp. And really, and catch our movie. That's what's behind me is our movie. Rock Camp, the movie's on Amazon Prime. It's free. You get to really see what we're about. It came out about 3 years ago, still doing really well. And you get to really see the magic.
Beautiful. Well, I appreciate your time, David. Thank you so much for joining me today, and look forward to more rock and roll fantasy camps in the future, year 31.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mike.
Bye bye.
Bye.